Wow, look at that. Just a regular tentacle. Just a plain old water poison type tentacle. Whoa! Convergent Pokemon, or ecologically similar Pokemon as they are officially labeled, are a variety of Pokemon that appear very similar to other Pokemon, but have absolutely no connection to them otherwise. You've probably seen a whole bunch of them at this point, and it's funny because there are so many different Convergent fakemon out there, like we're talking hundreds of them, but then when you turn your nose to the official designs, there's like, I don't know, 6. Frankly, that's not enough. I've only made Convergent forms once on this channel, and I really enjoyed making them, so I'm doing it again. But before we get started, take a look at this. I have 9,500 subscribers. Yippee! But guess what? Not everyone who watches is subscribed. That's crazy, right? But if everyone watching this video subscribes, then I might get 10,000 or a million. I should have 1 million. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not used to promoting myself, so I had no way to end that segment naturally. Speaking of naturally, we're adapting Oddish into a whole new Pokemon. Years ago, I made a fakemon called Longish, and I thought to myself, whoa, buddy, you're kind of a genius. And then I never posted it, so here it is. Here's Longish. I really want to revisit that design idea by making a Convergent Oddish, but with really long legs. I think it's fun. There's literally no better reason than that. It took me a fair while to get a good balance so that it didn't appear slanted, because that was surprisingly very easy to do. The actual creature will be based on a water fountain instead of a plant. I've been really loving Binacle and Barbaracle as of late, so rock water has a special place in my heart right now. If I'm going to make a rougher stone design for Oddish, then it's gonna need some brows. Mandatory. I wasn't really sure how to incorporate the leaves, but I just kinda drew them in, but you know, blocky. And I mean, is this a cop-out? Am I just masking the fact that I can't come up with a better idea? Well, if your answer was yes, then wow, I cannot believe you. I can't believe you just read my mind. Got you. I had you there for a second. Subscribe to my channel if I got you. God, I'm annoying. But yeah, this whole design is fun, but also kind of trash. It's, what's the word? A big pile of poo-poo. That's the official Good Place architect term. As much as I do like the look of this design, I just can't not see past its facade. Oh my goodness, I need to dial it down. It's not that deep. What am I trying to say? Okay, what I'm trying to say is that I don't think the design has much weight to it beyond aesthetics, so I'm just gonna try again. Honestly, I'm quite glad I went through that first design growing pain, because it really gave me clarity for this design. Now that I have a vision in mind, I can actually make something with a bit more substance. So the first order of business is to give up on Longish. Cute idea, but it won't work here. I'm actually going for something kind of ornate, like a fancy ceramic that you would find in the garden belonging to the richest person you know. Its legs will not be like Oddish's. Instead, it will have a sort of stand, as it were, or I guess more like a stake. It could like stab its legs into soft ground so that it can't be taken away by any predators or drawn in by any ultra wormholes. I don't know, like it's protected. I then went on to the leaves atop the head. Instead of strictly sticking to leaves that point out like the OG, I want them to be sculpted into the body as if it were a stone or ceramic piece. I did experiment with pieces that went up, but it didn't look good at all, so, you know, bye. Next, I gave it these like chandelier arms, sort of. It's funny thinking about a lot of the complex by memory designs in Pokemon, because in my head, they complicated, but then I look at their art and I think, huh, yeah, I could draw that, and so then I draw that, and it's not that hard. I'm starting to realize this all looks sort of Greek inspired, and now I want to see what a Greece region would look like. I mean, me and a million others. Perhaps I might make concept videos like that in the future. All fountains need a hole for the water to escape from, so I put it on top of our friend here. It looks not bad. I didn't know how else to do this. I could have done a spout maybe, but I think I was just so hell-bent on not having anything protruding from the head, so here we are. The last little detail to add were some little stone leaves to branch off the vines. I kinda love how I found a way to incorporate floristic design elements into a rock and water type Pokemon, and then furthermore, not even nearly have it confused to be a grass type. And if you think this is a grass type, you're just wrong. The coloring is very straightforward. We just have some shades of grey with a slight blue tone. Now for Comfey. Not a Pokemon I think I've ever mentioned or done anything with in any channel or online existence of mine ever. It has gone totally under the radar for me. So let's draw its twin. When I was researching ideas for a Convergent Comfey design, I was thinking what else it could be holding along a chain. Why am I spacing my words strangely? This isn't the news. The first and most obvious choice was daisies. Like, hello, a daisy chain? This is the part where I find out that no one else in the whole world ever did daisy chains, and that it was probably just a very niche thing that me and some others ever did in all of human history. Or everyone knows what a daisy chain is, and I'm not alone. That would be sick. That would make me feel like I'm not living in a simulation. I kept thinking of other random various objects that could be chained together when it hit me. Back in 2022, when I was a certified cool kid, I had a bracelet that was just made of little skulls. Not real ones, obviously, but it got me thinking, is this like a thing? Is there a concept or something in the historical canon that I can base a Pokemon design on? Well, yes. In both Hindu and Tibetan Buddhist iconography exists something called a Munda Mala. This is a garland of severed human heads and or skulls. In Hinduism, it is a symbol of fearsomeness and associated with the god Shiva, and in Buddhism, it is a symbol of wrath worn by deities. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda love the idea of Comfey just hanging out in a Alola with its little flowers, and then somewhere on the other side of the Pokemon world is Comfey of the gods, carrying around a garland of the fallen. My creature starts off looking pretty similar to Comfey, and the artwork looks very aligned with the original, but then I gave it a much longer tail and also had its chain trailing along behind it, rather than it being joined like Comfey is. I very loosely sketched in some skulls and then adjusted how many I had so that the number matched the quantity of the flowers on Comfey's lei. And then for the colors, I did start with something very striking, but then I eventually dialed it down to a more muted palette. There aren't enough official Convergent Pokemon to know if they're meant to be somewhat opposites of the Pokemon that they look like, but I do somewhat get that vibe, so I'm kinda doing the same with these Convergents, just on different scales of opposition. In this case, it's pretty stark. Not of the Tony variety. Now it is time for our best friend, Woobat. I am starting to really get the Woobat hype, by the way. Like, look at this little cutie pie, oh my goodness, you're so adorable. I want my Woobat adjacent creature to be based on a cloud rat. It's what I found when I searched up very fluffy rat, and now we're best friends, so cloud rat it is. Bats and rats and boots and cats are all both mammals, so I'm not too sure just how convergent these species should be considered, but then again, there is no such thing as a sentient water fountain or bridge, so I think we're good. Also, the tea and matcha Pokemon are both based on beverages, so I think it's fine to have my Convergent Woobat as a woo rat. Drawing in the fur was actually a bit harder than I anticipated. This is mainly because it's a Convergent form and I want the fur to sit quite similarly as the originals, otherwise it might not look very good, and I know myself too well. I'm not the best at drawing neat fur on my own. It is a rat, so it needs paws, and 4 of them. I want the pose to be like it's standing upright in excitement, like when a cat is trying to catch a fly, or the sunlight that reflects from my phone screen. I then added a rat tail, not that kind of rat tail, this kind of rat tail from a rat animal, because, you know, obviously, if it's gonna be a rat, it needs to look the part. Color-wise, it's kind of giving pop punk. Like, I seriously wonder if I have created Galarian Zigzagoon's most best friend in the whole wide world. I think I have. After finishing the coloring, I thought that it still looked just a bit bare, and that's when I realized it was missing its ears. Like, huh? Where did they go? So I drew them in really real quick, and alas, my Woobat turned rat was complete. And now we can take a look at what we just made. Firstly, we have Oddish, the fountain Pokemon. It is a rock water type with the abilities Storm Drain and Stalwart. A rumor once said that this Pokemon was born after a sculptor carved an Oddish out of stone. Because of its rarity, it is often mislabeled as a form of Oddish. Researchers claim Oddish precedes its ecologically similar species. Next up, it is Comfey, the garland Pokemon. It is a ghost fairy type with the ability Atrophic. This is a new ability that prioritizes draining moves. It roams around cemeteries to absorb the last ounce of life energy from the newly dead. Its body is constantly shrinking. If it doesn't spend all day looking for life energy, it will die. And lastly, but never leastly, enter Woorat, the rat Pokemon. It is a normal type with the ability Scrappy. They tend to live in cities as they can't hide very well from predators in the wild. It doesn't battle very well, so many people prefer to keep this Pokemon as a pet. Alrighty, those are all of my brand new Convergent forms. I hope you like what I did with the Pokédex entries. I tried out like doing a red and blue entry, you know, like the games, and that way you can get like 2 snippets of bite-sized lore from each Pokemon. Let me know what you think of these little guys in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate you all. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I upload new videos every single Fakemon Friday or Saturday if you live in Mirage Island, just like me. And thank you as always to the very awesome channel members. I really appreciate your support. By the way, if you ever liked my streams that I used to do on this channel, then please check out my Twitch. Every single Fakemon Friday, we will do a fun little stream where I take your requests and draw them. So make sure you follow me there so that you don't miss out. Okay, see you later. Bye bye.